hope you are doing very, very well. I've been doing more and more live streams on my YouTube and using that as my way of getting content out compared to like some of the more edited videos, some of the more videos I make with my DSLR camera, which is back there close to my backpack. And the reason is that I'm trying out different things on different platforms, and I'm trying to figure out what my new cadence is and what kind of content I want to do on the different social media platforms that I use. And so please bear with me as I'm trying to figure out what I want YouTube to look like. I want to do an interesting rant today, which actually was a conversation that started on my podcast the other day. And it's a conversation around fluency. Why does fluency and your ability to speak a language, why does it change and why does it fluctuate over time? Because I think everyone's been through that experience where some days your language fluency, you feel like you speak really, really well, and other days you feel like you don't speak well. Or rather, sometimes what can even happen is with one person or a specific group of people, you're able to speak quite well, and with another group of people, you're not able to speak quite well. And there's lots of different examples of different versions or variations of this, of one day you speak well, another day you speak worse. First and foremost, I think the big thing to look at here is that it's more of an emotional change than it is a factual change. Let me explain. Even though you feel like yesterday I spoke really, really well, and today, when I'm talking, it feels like I'm so much worse. That's not actually true. That's not really what's going on. What's really happening factually, if you were to look at the facts, if you were to have recorded yesterday's conversation and today's conversation, you would only notice probably some minor differences. Yes, yesterday might have been better and today might have been worse, but it's not as bad as you actually think. And what's interesting is that the reason it feels so bad for you, the reason you're like, man, I sucked today compared to yesterday, is that you are always hearing yourself talk and you are micro-analyzing your own level. And most people, everybody else apart from yourself that hears you talk or that you ever talk with, these people are not going to notice because there's such micro differences that you think in your head that, oh my God, I sounded so bad. But the reality is there's only a 5% difference, a 6% difference, a 4% difference. The other thing we need to look at as well is, a lot of people think, man, I got worse. Last week I was speaking so well and this week I'm not. That's not true. You're not speaking worse. It's not like your level got worse in a week. That's not really what's happening. There's other factors to look at. Number one, what was your emotional state? Where were you at mentally and emotionally? Because maybe, let's take some hypothetical scenario, maybe last week when you were talking and you felt really good, you were talking with people that you know, that you feel comfortable with, and you were in scenarios that are quite familiar to you. Maybe you're in a classroom scenario. Maybe you're at work and you're used to a lot of the work conversations. And now this week, all of a sudden, maybe something has changed. Maybe all of a sudden, where you're working, there's a guy who came in and he has a different speech pattern. He speaks differently than other people you've talked to, right? And like Nuance has said in the live chat, I think, what did they say? Let me just pull that up again. I think it's also the subject matter. Yes, absolutely. The subject matters of the conversation is an interesting thing to look at. Maybe today you were speaking really good and yesterday you weren't, but yesterday's subject matter, the type of conversation you were having, you weren't even that knowledgeable in that specific topic. And of course you couldn't speak very well because you don't know the words for that topic. But today, the conversation you were having was a very simple one. It's about something you know, something you're familiar with. So of course that's why it is. The other thing to look at, and this one I've never heard spoken about, then again, that's not really that significant because I don't really watch that many people's content. So maybe other people have said it, but it feels original to me. I think we need to look at the following. Did you know that in your own first language, your level is fluctuating as well? Haven't you ever had that experience? I know I definitely have, where you spoke with someone and you tried to communicate one thing, but you didn't do a very good job. You didn't communicate it very well. You stumbled a lot with your words. You couldn't fully explain it. And the other person either misunderstood what you said, or completely just didn't really understand, but just nodded and said, yeah, I get it, I understand. I think that's happened to everyone, right? And that happens in our own first language. So I think an argument can be made that it's not necessarily a lack of language knowledge. It's not like you didn't have the knowledge, or that day you just couldn't speak, or you got worse, or anything like that. It's more the fact that I think there's just other factors. Maybe you're tired, maybe you're nervous, maybe you just had a brain fart. Like, I don't know. There's other factors to consider as well. And so I guess the whole moral of the story, this is going to be a short video, I promise you. I'm not going like overtime like I have on a lot of my other streams. I guess the moral of the story is the reason that your language level is fluctuating has less to do with the reason. It really has to do with the fact that there's a million reasons. And actually, if you're watching this live, you know I've titled this video the wrong way, because it's not the real reason. There's actually a variety of reasons, but people don't really think about that. And people don't realize that it should not be hurting your self-esteem if one day you speak better and another day you speak worse, or one day you speak really well, another you don't, or one day your accent's really good, another it wasn't. Like, that stuff is not anything to feel bad about, or to feel nervous about, or to beat yourself up about, because it happens in your own first language too. It happens in whatever your native tongue is. You're doing it anyway. There's days where you just crush it, and there's days where you don't. There's days where you're good, there's days where you're bad. It's just completely normal. And yeah, I guess actually final thing is this. Think about presentations. It's interesting. Sometimes people say, oh, and maybe this is just me because I studied some languages in in university, but it made me realize this. In university, people would always say, man, I suck at giving presentations in French or Spanish. They would like say those types of comments. I don't like doing it. Man, I just wish I could speak more fluently like the other people. Well, presentations, this is a completely different video, but anyway, presentations, some people suck at presentations in their own language. That's not a language ability. Sometimes that's like a presentation skill ability or comfortableness with presentations. I saw some chats in the live chat. What happened here? You should make a compilation of some motivational type videos. Might be a good channel trailer. Cool. I don't really consider this motivational, which is interesting. I'm just kind of talking. That's interesting. Obviously heavily edited, but yeah, for sure. That's interesting. I never really thought this is motivational. It's interesting that that came out. I never realized that was motivational. But anyway, we're gonna wrap it up here. Again, I'm trying to figure out the right cadence on my YouTube. For now, I'm probably gonna be doing live rants like this, interviews. I probably will take my DSLR camera out and do more. Actually, camera's right there. Actually, it's right there. That one. Anyway, I probably will do stuff, but yeah, I'm just gonna hack and figure out what I want it to look like. So I am starting to, some things are starting to change. I am starting to put some thought into what each place looks like. So anyway, peace out. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked it, and I'll talk later. Bye. Da-da-dum.